Hello, this is Brad Wild, and we're in the X737 out of Las Vegas for LAX. I'm using SkymaxxPro and the real weather connector from X-Aviation, and we do have some real weather. This is a sky vector with actual radar laid over it, and we're going to be coming from the east and on into LAX. But the purpose of this is just to check out the weather. If I look at the environmental map here, you can see we've got some interesting stuff. I'm grabbing real weather from the net. I downloaded it recently. And I've got a master caution on because I've got something that says air conditioning and I cannot figure it out. It just showed up. And I don't see anything that says air conditioning here other than these guys. So if anybody's got any ideas, I'm open to it. Anyway, so that's what it looks like outside the right window, starboard side, and this is what it looks like out the port side. So we're above the deck, and we're into kind of a clear area here. And nothing too exciting about this route. Basically straight into LA. We could step through it if you'd like. Let's zoom in a little bit. And just a straight ILS approach on in, and I believe this is our go around. So again, nothing too exciting. Again, SkymaxxPro 4 is doing a great job. I am having some issues with frame rates. It's bouncing all over the place. Anyway, now that we're coming up on our cruise altitude of flight level 240, you'll see the throttles start to come back. Interesting, I don't see them actually moving, but and we can let the flight attendants float around the cabin. And now that we are at cruise, I'll leave you until we get a little bit closer to our top of descent. But again, just quick look out the window at the clouds. real weather stuff. I can't. So we are coming out of Las Vegas, so we're probably in this area right here. And then we pick up more clouds as we get closer to LA. So, back in a few minutes. Checking in mid-flight. Take a look out over the nose. Starting to get into those clouds that we saw. We're coming up on Hector. So I think we're getting into this stuff here. And then it looks like there's, well, I take that back. A couple of clear spots, but not much as we get into LA. So we'll see how well it does. I might want to refresh the weather as we get closer. Out the window. By the way, the interior of this airplane is nothing to write home about, and why it closes, I have no idea. That is so weird. But everything else from the galley forward is fantastic, or the cockpit door forward is fantastic. I really like this airplane. So, a little bit more later. Well, we can start thinking about our descent. First to look out the window, or I would say fairly realistic. And our top of descent is coming up in just over 20 miles. And here's our approach plate. First of all, our localizer is 108.5, and we're going to be at about 10,000 feet. River is our actual, I guess, initial approach fix. It's not showing an altitude, but we want to be to 10,000. So that's about all we need, and you can see we'll be getting into weather. So I'm going to dial in 10,000. I know you can type it in. Old habits die hard. Now in this airplane, it automatically does its descent, whereas in the JAR aircraft you have to do it yourself. We've got, these are the mountains just east of the LA basin. This looks like probably Lake Arrowhead. So again, we're coming in over this direction. Here's Lake Arrowhead. There's mountains that go all along here. So altitude is dialed in. Notice our headwinds. Almost 80 knots. I had this set, my economy, or my cost index, a little low, and so I upped it. And you can do that in flight. Just put it in the scratch pad and punch the button, and I immediately saw an increase in power. There are those mountains I was telling you about. Not sure what airport that is. My frame rates are bouncing around quite a bit. Maybe I should just stay put for a while. Yeah, that looks like Lake Arrowhead. Now these clouds do put quite a dent on your screen rates. It should begin descending shortly. And here come back the throttles. I don't know if you can see that. Yep. Very nice. Notice I've got my localizer frequencies dialed into both sides. And now we begin our descent. Very nice. Those of you who watch my videos know that I like to fly early morning or late afternoon, just for the lighting. And I also like to land with the runway lights on. Well, I'll get back to you as soon as we begin our descent through the cloud deck. Well, we got there a little sooner than I thought. Very realistic feel. My frame rates are taking quite a toll. And you can see our approach into LAX, pretty straightforward. It's interesting how far out we pick up the, I don't know if we'll get the localizer this far out, but it's, you know, 25, 30 miles out. Passenger view. It's always fun in a real airplane when that happens. Come on, where's my... There we go. It's cool to see the little puffs of clouds. Yeah, so much better than X-Plane's default clouds. This is one of my favorite plugins. big plug for, so to speak, for X-Aviation, SkymaxxPro, and real weather connector. When looking out the nose like that, I lose about 5 or 6 frames per second. And right now, you'll notice in the upper left of the screen, it's hovering around 20. And I find 20 to be kind of the threshold where things start to get slow. So we're about ready to turn towards the airport. And let's get back our legs here. So we want to be at 15,000 at Civet. So still haven't gotten into the clouds yet. Just skimming the tops. Forgot to change my barrel. And here goes our turn. That looked pretty cool, didn't it? And coming up on our initial approach fix, we want to be at 14. Next one is, I don't even know how you say that, Jacob. That's at 10,000, so we need to do some heavy descending here. And once we get there, I'll click approach. Well, little thunder. Check the local map here. So we are over Ontario, major airport just west of LAX. And we can check the weather too. So you can see it's kind of messy here. think I'm going to need to assist my descent here. Although it's saying 10,000. See, 10,000 even at Skull, so maybe I shouldn't worry about it. Quite a storm. I don't know if they get that kind of thunder and lightning in LA. Alright, it looks like we're getting into the cloud deck finally. Now that's interesting. That is an overcast sky. Let's see if we can get our... Nope, not ready to do our approach yet. I know I'm struggling, right, folks. And now we got rain. Interesting. There's our guide slope, finally. Our air conditioning warning is back. Not much to see out the windows. So our guide slope is lit up. So we're on the guide slope, glide slope. I always say guide slope, don't I? Trying to slow down here. Aircraft is just not slowing down. I'm going to put a notch of flaps down just to see what happens. So I've exceeded it a bit. Better get the gear down. Landing lights should have been on sooner. Well, don't judge me by my flying. Again, this is for the weather. Sorry. See if I can see out this. Nope. Okay, be that way. It's windy. Bouncing around. This is the, I think, 405, so we're close. I can see some runways over here. So I can see my rabbit here. So let's see if it'll auto land. I wanted to come in a little hot. Well, I never got my auto land, so sorry about that. And you'll notice I forgot my brakes. I forgot a lot of things.